Hey, it's Derek Jones. Thanks for joining me on another episode of Rare Paintball Guns, where we talk about some of the rare and not so rare paintball guns from our sports past. What I have today could be considered one of the greats. Certainly was when I started becoming active in tournaments, and that is the PMI-3 or Vm68. Now, you could do different videos on both. The PMI-3 was the first version of the Vm68. And the main difference was an ambidextrous safety. It had a different valve, and it was marketed by Pursuit Marketing Industries. They had an exclusive deal with Sheridan, but then Sheridan went bankrupt and got bought up by Crossman and no longer had to and I think they went with National as far as their distributor after that. So they changed the name to Vm68. Now, the Vm68, a lot of people consider a different marker, and I would say it's really just a generational. They put the PMI-3 out there, they saw there was some problems with it, and they made a couple changes, and right around that time the company changed hands, and so the Vm68 was the one that came out. This is a Vm68 that I picked up at a thrift market for next to nothing, which was kind of sad to me because when I really got active in the sport, I was watching the Florida Annihilators shoot these, and that's the first time I really saw like massive paint going down the field. And up until then, like a 40-round ammo box was a lot of paint. In fact, I got kicked off a field because I was shooting a 40-round ammo box on my Bushmaster. And then, you know, some of the semis started coming on the field and the game changed forever. But the great thing about the Vm68 is when you shoot it, there's a lot of mass. You feel the motion. And they really didn't need agitators. There was so much motion in the gun, most of the time they would shake the hoppers, and they would they would just shake enough that they would feed. And so they were kind of, in my opinion, along with the Tippmann 68, one of the really first successful tournament markers. And I saw them widespread on the scene in, from about 89 to 92. So work on this marker, as near as I can tell, originated in about 1987. And anybody that has more information on the history of this gun, please feel free to make a comment or message me, because the history of paintball is kind of, it's not really well known. So everybody has a little bit and piece of it, and so we go off of what we know. Anyway, this was literally the first semi marker that I actually shot in a tournament. I shot a PMI-3, which I had a later version PMI-3, and we used to put a 7-ounce tank on the front, and then we would have a 20-ounce anti-siphon on the back. And between the 27 ounces in Utah, you'd get about 700 if it was hot outside shots, and that was a lot. And they were heavy, heavy guns. And the bolt, when you fired it, you knew it, you felt it. And they're still a lot of fun. It's a fun gun to play with because of the motion of the marker. Everybody complains about kick, and I always enjoyed kick. It's just kind of fun, makes it feel real. The gun itself is kind of unique. You have this front valve system, and you have the spring-loaded hammer. We'll take it apart in a second. I just wanted to talk about some of the different features. So, real quick, just to rehash, the Vm68 has a different valve than the original PMI-3s. Now, the PMI-3 changed about 3/4 of its lifespan, and it had the new valve in the later PMI-3s. But this ambidextrous safety is unique, and then it had a different feed neck. And Sheridan would go on to use this feed neck on a couple other markers. It has its own unique threading. Let's see if I can get this off. We'll break it down in just a second here. This is no joke. We used to strap 7 ounces to the front. Guys would run around with just this, bullpup style. They wouldn't even put a stock on it. And they shot just fine. They're a lot of fun. So the 7-ounce tank, for a while, was kind of the premier and the standard size tank. And mounting it on the front of the gun with your paint on the top. I don't remember what these weigh, but it's heavy, and it was a heavy gun. These kids complaining about geos and stuff being heavy. I'm like, you guys have no idea what a heavy gun is. All right, so let's pull it up and we'll break it down, take it apart. I'm not going to take the valve out. Backy Paintball has a video where he breaks it down completely, and I'll put a link to that. It's a great video, but we'll break it down and we'll see what it looks like on the inside. Now, Cool thing about this gun is this was the safety. Red means fire. You'd push that up. And this could also be installed on this side. So you can take that apart. The barrel is unique. It's a 1 in 8. Now they used this. This is the stock barrel, and they used a 1 in 8 UNC thread. There were only a couple other guns that used Vm68 threads or PMI threads. The Brute did, and a couple others. That's been in there a while. All right, so this is a brass barrel, and they actually shot really well. And basically what Sheridan did is they basically just flanged. They bored a piece of brass, flanged it, put an O-ring on it, and then they had this sleeve that would fit over the top of it, and pressure would compress it in, and it would. They worked really well. I mic'd that out, and it was about a 690. All right, so it's been a while. I used to repair these all the time, but it's been a little while. So let's take it apart. And this one, honestly, I can tell has not been taken apart in a long time.
Screws.
And you want to put your finger on the back because that's the spring right there. That's your recoil spring. And then the bolt has a buffer, like a bumper right there. And that is the spring guide. That just sits right in there like that. I think that was backwards. I think they had. Bolt just comes right out like that. You can tell this one is filthy. And you got a ball that sits in that O-ring groove right there. Okay, now I'm not going to take it apart much further than that because I'm just field stripping it. Like I said, I'll do a link to Backy's video where he actually field strips the valve and the grip frame. But this is the field stripped Vm68. And you can actually switch this valve to different sides, so right and left. And that lets you have an ambidextrous feed, which was kind of a unique idea at the time, and I'm pretty sure that that goes in that way. So I'm going to try to find an O-ring for that real fast. Okay, so I found an O-ring. It's not a perfect fit, but for now it's going to hold this spring in, or this ball bearing in, so that we don't lose it. I'm not sure why that ball bearing's there. For whatever reason it was there. I don't remember. I think that was adjustable for some reason. Anyway, broken.
And I'll have to get my O-ring kit out and actually really put a real O-ring in it when I get time.
One thing that I forgot to do real fast was pull off this
Feedback before we do that, we'll clean that real quick. It's definitely been on there a while.
They're actually pretty decent guns. They run really well for a long time. I know that these detents go bad. That's the biggest problem. So this one's going to need a new detent. So there you have a field stripped Vm68. Now this one is so old. It's going to need O-rings for sure. But they're really easy to rebuild. They're really reliable. They're not the best cold weather guns, but they're fun and they're easy to maintain. And if you see one at a yard sale, I say pick it up. This one is going on eBay. I totally recommend getting yourself one and have one for your collection. I have 5 or 6. Great piece of paintball history. Like I said, these were the first real tournament guns that I saw, like semi-tournament guns. I watched the Florida Annihilators use these with great effect, especially when other teams were still shooting pump guns or more unreliable semis that had come out. The Vm68s were reliable, they were accurate, and they had fairly high rates of fire. So, pretty cool gun. This one is serial number 5977021004. I would love to know how many were made. I'm not sure. I know it was a lot. It was extremely popular. That you don't see them anymore very often, but occasionally you'll see 1 or 2 on the field. Anybody that's got any input or part of the history, please put it in the comments below, and let's talk about it. Vm68. Thanks for joining me, and don't forget to hit the like and the subscribe so that we can keep making more and more videos. And I will see you next time.